हाय सीए सागर पाटनी। अच्छा आप चालू कर रहे हैं सर?
हाँ सर।
Good evening, everyone. Today, on the second day of GST conclave, we are having with us WRC Vice Chairman Vishal Doshi sir for giving his opening remarks. Now I request Sagar Patni sir, Jalgaon branch, to start the session. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sagar sir,
I,
please take over.
Sagar Patni, Chairman of Jalgaon branch. Welcome, WRC Vice Chairman CA Vishal Doshi sir. Today's speaker CA Mukesh Ladda sir. Our session chairman CA Magan Patil sir. Chairman of Akola branch Jalaj Bahiti sir. Nagar branch Kiran Bhandari sir. Jalgaon branch committee member CA Prashant Agrawal sir. CA Vicky Birla. Seniors in professions and friends. Very good evening to all of you. Let me express our sincere gratitude and appreciation to WRC Vice Chairman CA Vishal Doshi sir, who has raised this occasion with his presence here today. In our second day of GST conclave, today we are here to conduct virtual meeting on basis of appeal filing and adjudication. Due to some medical issue of Avinash sir, we have reshuffled the webinar. Now we have webinar on research judgment and controversies on 10th of August. So, and now I request WRC Vice Chairman C. Vishal Doshi sir to express his views.
Very good evening, friends. I think rather than Sagar thanking me, I would thank the three chairmen, Jalaj, Kiran and Sagar, all three of them, Trimurti, I would say, for giving me this privilege and this occasion to come virtually and interact with you. Friends, let me be very honest that last year I had the privilege of visiting Ahmednagar branch first, followed by Akola. And let me be very honest that I didn't know Kiran, Jalaj and the team, but that one visit has given such a strong bonding amongst us that it is always a pleasure. And I feel that, you know, we, even other than these webinars, we all interact so freely and frankly with each other, as if, you know, we have been knowing each other since years.
Yes, sir.
So I think that is the bonding as a professional that you share with any other professional. I take this opportunity to also thank CA Maganji Patil, the session chairman, and CA Mukesh Bhai Ladda, the speaker, for this GST course. Friends, I believe that, to be very honest, when this corona started, March and April, we were in such a panic situation. And today, when we look at the things and when we look at things in the hindsight, what I believe is that I give credit to each and every professional that all of us has adapted to this situation in a very, very positive manner. Yes, initially we had that fear. We still do have that fear, you know, whenever we move out of our homes. And we still carry a bit of fear, but I believe that overall the positive way in which we have carried ourselves, that speaks a lot. And I very strongly believe that, you know, ours is a profession which is so much exposed to change. You know, every week there is some law or the other that gets changed. It might be on the accounting side, it might be, especially when we are into a series on GST. I believe that GST would have more changes than the number of days in a year. You know, and as professionals, we adapt to that change and you know, acclimatize our clients with that change. So we do a lot of hands-holding for them to ensure that they do proper compliance and a timely compliance. And at the same time, we satisfy the requirement of the regulator that whatever are the amendments that are being brought about, we give our representations also. We educate the client, we educate our team, we educate, I think, especially when we look at the smaller cities like, you know, Akola, Jalgaon and Nagar. I would say, going a step, walking the extra mile and even educating industries, industry associations and representing them. And therefore, ours is a profession which technically is very, very susceptible and adaptable to change. And I think this is the first time that we are required to, in this situation, change on the technological platform. And I feel that this is a blessing in disguise, that we have so many branches having joint seminars amongst themselves. Maybe, you have a Gandhidham branch having a joint seminar with Akola branch or a Jalgaon branch, which otherwise, might have been very, very difficult. And they might be having joint programs, but then the host branch would have 95, 99% of the participation in terms of the presence. Whereas when we go on a virtual platform, we have equal participation from almost all the branches. And that gives a lot of opportunity of bonding, especially at the committee level. Friends, when I look at technology, if you expect me to talk on GST, then your expectations are very wrong. Because I am not a person of GST. Let me be very honest. I am a man of audit, and I certify balance sheets, which is a very, very risky proposition nowadays. To be very honest, friends, our office that we went live, I would say in the first week of April itself, because we had invested a lot in technology over the last 3 or 4 years. As chartered accountants, I still remember that in my good old days of maybe 10 years back and all, हम लोग के पास जो softwares थे, हर एक software we used to have a non-licensed software. Let me be very, very candid. And nowadays, because the softwares at that point in time were so expensive, and we always used to have this assembled computer या हम लोग को देता था, या हम लोग लैपटॉप जिससे खरीदते थे, उसी के पास इतने सारे सॉफ्टवेयर्स होते थे, हम लोग बोलते थे भाई डाल दे, तेरे पास जो भी है सब डाल दे, we will use it. But nowadays the things have changed substantially. There are these softwares, where you used a non-licensed version, then immediately either the software gets blocked or that information gets transmitted to the license holder, and there are a lot of things. And the price of softwares have come down significantly. What I'm trying to say is that in the first week of April, in spite of the lockdown, I myself have mailed to the clients that we are ready. If you have your March end accounts or whatever level, if you want us to audit, we are ready, and we would be ready to audit working from home. So this was the level of preparedness that we have. And so what my request to all members would be that, I don't know what is the situation in different cities, whether you are going to office, you are not going to office. My request would be, please, when you go to office, next plan as if कल आपका office lockdown या containment zone में आ जाएगा, तो आप कैसे operate करेंगे. Please utilize the next 1 week or 10 days in putting up the office infrastructure in such a way. So by infrastructure, I do not mean only the server, but I would say even to the extent of equipping your employees, your article students with necessary infrastructure so that your work goes seamlessly on. You don't give any opportunity to any of the employees or to any of your client saying that आपके पास ये नहीं है, आपके पास वो नहीं है, मैं ऐसा नहीं कर सकता, मैं वैसा नहीं कर सकता. So what I'm trying, I request all members, especially those who are from the smaller cities and the smaller firms, please look at it that you invest in this technology infrastructure, which has now become a necessity, and ensure that how you can work from home or work from anywhere for that matter. You won't believe that in our office also, the Tally software, see, let me be very candid, that our accounts team never had a laptop. So वो Tally software और सब कुछ वो desktop पे ही रहता है, which majority of the offices would be having. And once this lockdown, everything started, and then was this difficulty. And a few months back, we went for the Tally online server by which the accounts people, the HR people, everybody is able to work from home or work from office or work from wherever they want to. So these are the small situations where we want. So I believe that as chartered accountants, we must, you see, हम लोग वो internal controls और वो सब करते हैं. We always question to the client, what can go wrong. हम लोग जब audit के लिए जाते हैं या GST का audit भी आप करेंगे तो आपके पास first question आएगा कि भैया आपने ये input credit पूरा लिया है, उसका क्या guarantee है, what are the controls you have in place to ensure that you have taken all the input credit or there is no output liability that has been missed out. So similarly, I would say that we need to question ourselves about what can go wrong. तो हमारे ऑफिस में अगर कंटेनमेंट में आया, then how do we work, how do we ensure the continuity? And see, हम लोग जब ऑडिट हम लोग जब क्लाइंट के पास जाते हैं, we do a lot of things for them with respect to business continuity, with respect to backups, and we are experts in giving advice. But I believe, friends, this is the time that we have to say that charity begins at home, and all these infrastructure requirements and arrangements we have to put in our place by which we are able to be successful. And let me tell you, I have understood that in these days, those who are technologically strong, even amongst all of us, if there is a competition, those who are technologically strong, they are going to be the leaders for tomorrow. So with this, I wish the branches and the conclave a great success. I have gone through the topics, I have gone through the speakers, and let me tell you, the team has worked very hard in arranging the best of the speakers, and definitely the topics. GST always remains a controversial topic in recent times, and maybe in the times to come also. We have the session chairman and the speaker who will take you more into detail about it. So friends, once again, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and all the best to each one of you. Thank you.
Sir, it was great to listen you today, and we all member of 3 branches are immensely joyful after getting personalized and constructive inputs from you. Thank you for accepting our request and giving time out of your very busy schedule, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks. All the best.
Now I request CA Vicky Birla to present speaker's introduction.
Thank you, sir. I will take this opportunity to introduce our today's learned speaker, CA Mukesh Ladda, sir. He is a practicing chartered accountant for last 15 years as a partner of DMKH and Company in Gandhinagar. Sir, having experience in the area of indirect taxation, accounts, costing, audit, and system implementation. Sir has in-depth knowledge of GST and other central and state indirect tax laws. He also held leadership roles in including indirect taxation in companies like Polycab, Kalpataru Power, and Rajasthan Spinning. Sir is experienced in implementation of GST and other indirect tax laws. He also experienced in the system implementation like SAP, Oracle for various compliances and statutory requirements, mapping the business processes in line with statutory requirements. Sir is a regular speaker in various branches of ICAI. Sir, we are very fortunate to have you speaker for the session. Now I request CA Mukesh Ladda sir to please guide us on topic. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vicky. Thanks a lot for your kind words. Thank you, Vishalji, Chairman Session, Chairman Branch, Akola Jaladji, Chairman Branch, Ahmedabad, Kiran Bhandari.
Ahmednagar, sir.
Ahmednagar. Chairman Jalgaon, Sagarji Patni. Thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity for interaction with all professionals. Vishal ji ने जो बोला है कि in today's environment, if you are not updated, you will be outdated. Now, outdated in terms of knowledge, in terms of technical support, in each and everything. And we need to be continuously update so that we can match our pace with the change environment. So thank you very much, and I would like to support that. Really, we need to work on the updates in terms of technology, in terms of knowledge, in terms of changes, and after getting the update, implement it in our professional life, in our office, with our team, and need to educate them. So today's session is on appeals. Although there are not so much changes are there in appellate process and provision, but still we need to see a lot in terms of appeals. So if we talk about appeals and difference in between present law of GST and erstwhile law, the major difference is technology. This the provisions under GST, maximum provisions of GST are on online and the system support. So we need to develop our soft skills. We need to develop our how to present in soft skills and update the system changes in our company or office. So I would like to start my presentation. We'll try to first touch the basic provisions of GST appeals, and then how system is working on filing the GST appeals in terms of first appeal, and what are the consequences and what are the options available for the second appeal, because right now the second appellate is still not formulated, and what other options are there, and how then up in last we'll try to touch upon some of the drafting skill in appeal, so that we are in position to, or we would in position to communicate what we want to say. And we need to learn because now if you see the faceless assessment in income tax, the India tax is also proceeding in that direction. We don't know, next phase maybe there, we don't know who will be the appellate authority for us, and who will actually taking our assessment and all this. So custom is already started in that line, so we may go in that direction also. So to go in that direction, our systems, our portals also need upgradation. So I'm just starting my session with the appellate process. So if you talk about if we discuss about appeals, then what do we mean by appeal? So each and every appeal is a consequence of adjudication order. So any adjudication order by an adjudicating authority, if it is not as per our wish, I have avoided the use of wish, or it is not as per provisions which available, we feel so, or not as per whatever the precedents available, whether in the actual law or whether in the current law. We are having an option to file our grievances with a request, with a representation, with an opportunity to represent the case. These are the facts, this is the provision, and whatever adjudicating authority has done, that needs a review. So we can say that tax law recognizes and gives an opportunity to file our grievances against an order passed by adjudicating authority. Now, the opportunity is available to SSC or a registered person as well as department. In both the way, department also thinks that somewhere if it is like that, the order is not passed as per department having a merit on the subject, so they also want on the appeal. So in simple words, if we say an appeal under a law is an application to a higher court or authority for a reversal of the decision of a lower court and authority. So appeal will always arise when there is a legal dispute. So in our considerable court, if you feel that anyway I need to interrupt or there is a question, then we can take also. Otherwise, I would request to keep mute all others. Jalajji, please.
किरण भाई सबको म्यूट कर दीजिए प्लीज.
Yeah, कर दिया already.
Okay. And if someone want to, we can have a question answer around at the end, or if someone want to have a clarity during mid of the session, we can take this also, sir. We don't have any issue, and Jalajji can allow if someone raise the hand, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So appeal is an opportunity, and we feel that there is a legal dispute. As per legally, I am entitled. As per legally, the demand is wrong. As per legally, I am not liable to pay any penalty. Then I can knock the door for my appellate authority and with a request that kindly revise or review the order. So adjudicating authority, generally if we say at the lowest level of or the authority in the highest level of authority in division or lowest of authority in the administration in the IRS class, and those are called assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner. In terms, it is being appointed as an administrator. Now, the steps of appeal, if you see, there are different types or different steps of appeals are available. First appeal, second appeal, third appeal, and fourth appeal. Based on the different type of matters, whether it is valuation, whether it is any legal issue, whether it is any question of law, each and every appellate authority has a separate jurisdiction and separate procedure for that. So, in brief, if we see the section 13, section 4, section 18, the chapter 18 of appeals and revisions are the covering of section 107 to 121, which actually all covers the how we need to file appeal and what are the basic provisions to file an appeal. So, first appeal authority, then tribunal, then High Court, and then Supreme Court. There are different forms for different appeal at different levels. So, APS 01 is for the first appellate authority for the registered person. But if department want to file an appeal, then it will be APS 03. And the difference, basic difference is that department need not to deposit any amount. Then APS 02 is the acknowledgement issued by the appellate authority that all the required documents has been received and appeal is valid for deciding next course of action at the appellate level. Then APL 04, I would say, is the summary of the appellate order where they can modify the original adjudication order, they can reject the appeal, or they can accept the appeal. The summary of the appellate authority order is APL 04. APL 05 is for filing an appeal to appellate tribunal. APL 06 is a cross objection for the opponent party, and APL 07 is also for appellate tribunal but it is for department, and APL 08 is a common form for any of appellant, whether it is registered person or department, for filing appeal at High Court. Now we will touch what are the basic criteria to file an appeal. Now, we have already understand that there are three types of stream under GST provisions: CGST, SGST, and IGST. So we need to file a single appeal for all the streams, and SGST, having the jurisdictional authority of SGST, also empowered to give appellate orders for CGST also, and if any appeal order is required to be reviewed, that will be under in the same stream, whether it is CGST, SGST, IGST, or UPGST. So, appellate order issued by or adjudication order issued by SGST cannot be reviewed by CGST officer. Similarly, there are 3-4 circumstances where the order cannot be appealed. That's one is a transfer proceeding from one officer to another officer. I cannot go to department and appeal to say, नहीं, मेरे को तो उसी officer के पास भेज दीजिए sir. So the jurisdiction cannot be changed, or I would say officer cannot be changed. Books are seized, then we cannot go, I need immediately my base and kindly release my books of account. Prosecutions है, or in terms of installment, I have requested to department that my financial situation is not so good, so kindly allow me to pay installments, and I would like to installment of 9 or 10. If this is allowed 5, that is also not appealable. So there are 4 circumstances where I cannot go in the appellate authority to file an appeal. Now, besides appeal, there are certain processes where the little bit confusions are also there, and department have some internal process before filing an appeal. One is review mechanism and a revision mechanism. Now, for review mechanism, I would say it's the appeal process within the department or it's to review the adjudicating order by any adjudicating authority, and there are review cells within the department in CGST or SGST. There are legal officers, there are senior officers who analyze the order, and whether after analyzing, if it is found that the order is not as per law, as per current provisions, in terms of issuing penalty or in terms of demand, or there could be more penalty, or their refund is issued wrong, then it is reviewed. And it is again, after reviewing, if the review is allowed or approved, then it will go into appellate process. If you talk about revision, it's a backdoor. I would say it's a backdoor of allowing any case which could not be reviewed, or any reason the time limit of review is expired. Although the basic purpose of I would say revision is whenever the administrative hierarchy realize that something is happened illegal in terms of jurisdictional aspect, in terms of any other issue where order itself is wrong, then they are empowered to revise it. But there are certain conditions to revise it. For the purpose of review, file or appeal through review, there are 6 months, but revision, this cannot be made when the appeal period is open. So there are basic conditions, or there are basic steps before going into revision. And why I'm touching the revision, because there are a lot of confusion in revision and review. So when revision is happen, or who are actually, there are different regional authorities, then the review authorities, and who can revise the order, on what circumstances it can be revised. So there are, when the basic purpose is again the interest of the department feel that any specific Supreme Court order or High Court order or CAG direction is not implemented while issuing the adjudicating order, or the jurisdictional or the adjudicating authority has actually crossed the jurisdictional empowerment. In that case, they feel that it is not proper, or it grossly violates the GST provisions, then it can be revised. And they can stay the order till further direction. Now, this is an exceptional power under Section 108, and this power cannot be exercised when the appeal period is still open. The appeal period for filing appeal for department is 6 months. So before that, it cannot be revised, and any order cannot be revised after a period of 3 years. And if same matter is already taken for the revision earlier, even if it cannot be revised, and if already there is an order for revising the same matter, it cannot again revise. So I have clarified that how a revision is different than review, and we'll try to touch the review mechanism if time permits, how there is a review mechanism itself actually following within the department. So actually, review mechanism is a type of internal control check within the department, that if the adjudicating authority made any mistake, so the higher up can verify, they can review the order and then file an appeal against that order. Now, the revision power is in an exceptional case, and it cannot be in normal course of action when there is always a way to file an appeal. And recently, the revision authority has been declared in January 2020 by notification, and any order which is passed by additional commissioner, joint commissioner, the revisional authority is the principal commissioner, where the adjudicating authority for deputy commissioner, commissioner, the revision authority is additional or joint commissioner. So in brief, we can describe the appeal provision in GST that the first order is adjudicating authority issued by the order in original. Then there are 2 ways to appeal it, and through revisional authority or through appellate authority. If the same is not satisfactory to the registered person, then he can again go to appellate tribunal. If he found that appellate tribunal is also not has given any relief to them, then they can appeal to High Court and then Supreme Court. So there are 4 stages are there to file an appeal. This is the first appellate procedure. I have tried to explain here that any taxpayer now here the word is used unregistered person also file an appeal. Now I'm giving an example where an unregistered person can file an appeal. Example, under section 129, any vehicle is seized during the course of movement of the goods or delivery of the goods, but because of the e-way bill issue and whatever, and I have been, or any registered, the person has been actually charged for penalty or asked to pay, the GST is already paid. In that case, the registered person feels that there is a improper order. In that case, because in that particular state where the SGST authority, CGST authority have penalized him, he is not registered. In that case, he can file an unregistered person in that state for taking any relief. Then the mandatory condition to file an appeal is that whatever amount is disputed, 10% of that is only for tax amount. So there are two types of payment here. If any liability I have accepted, then I need to pay 100% of the liability, penalty, and interest which is accepted by me. And example, out of 100 rupees, 90 is acceptable to me, but 10 is still I feel it is disputed and I should get a relief on this. Then I can go for appeal for 10 rupees. For that, I need to pay 10% of that. That is 1 rupee I need to pay for filing an appeal to appellate authority. Then whether it is an APL 01, then I will file or I will submit the appeal through portal, and the appellate authority will issue an acknowledgement, and after going the appellate process and given an opportunity, personal hearings and submission, appellate authority will decide the case and give a summarized order in APL 04. Similar process is for a department. They will file an appeal through APL 03 after having the review process within the department and acceptance the review recommendation by the commissioner. So this is a short, brief presentation on first level appellate authority. Appellate authority is again there is a definition or defined under the Act, and for deputy commissioner, assistant commissioner, or for joint commissioner, additional commissioner, there are different appellate authority has been defined. So this is the process. Time limit to file an appeal before first appellate authority is 3 months from the receipt of the order, and for department it is 6 months. So there is a difference between 3 months and 6 months, and this is to take care the review process within the department. So always department is given some more relaxation for filing an appeal and opening the cases and all. So this is the case, and because of any reason, if I could not file the appeal within a specified period of 3 months, then appellate authority have a power to condone for 1 month, not beyond 1 month. Then the appellant need to pay 10% and 100% of the undisputed amount. Appeal will be filed in APL 01, and till decision of the appeal, the recovery process will be stayed. The appellate authority can adjourn the appeal process. Maximum adjournment is 3. During the appeal, I can produce any additional evidence only if there is circumstance I could not show it during my grounds of appeal. So this is a very specific message which I want to convey, that while drafting the appeal, we need to, or we should try to include whatever grounds of appeal we want to include. Otherwise, department may object in the due course of appeal or at the time of hearing that any additional evidence if I am giving at the time of hearing, and this evidence was not there at the time of appeal, so there may be some objection from departmental authority. And appellate authority cannot remand the case to original authority. They need to decide either in favor or against or in a modified way, but they cannot remand by deciding afresh. So they need to give a clear-cut decision whether they are accepting the appeal, whether they are rejecting the appeal, or partially acceptance, partially rejection. They can enhance the penalty, fine or reducing, but again, if there is an enhancement by the appellate authority against the original authority order, then they need to issue show cause notice. Again, they need to give a natural for an opportunity to hear. So there is a possibility if they feel that whatever penalty is there in the original authority, it should be more. Although there are very, very few instances like that, and generally appellate authority will not do this. Appellate authority will hear the case, provide an opportunity to hear, and then pass the order within a period of 1 year in the form of APL 04. This is a short representation of an appellate authority. First, they will go into, actually it is in the portal itself like income tax. They are also in the portal. They will see the appeal file. There are queue in the appeal file, and based on FIFO basis they will select. Then they will see the documents along with the appeal file, whether it is from department and from our side. Then they will allow appeal if all the things are okay, or they can reject. If there is a need to issue show cause notice for enhancing the penalty or demand, they need to issue show cause notice. Then they will study the replies. Then will issue a personal hearing. They will hear the case. Then, if required and time permits, if within 3 adjournments, they will adjourn the case. And any additional evidence, if they will consider, and finally they will issue the order. This is a brief representation of the total appellate process at appellate authority level. We have touched the revisional authority, so we already discussed that when a revisional authority can revise the order. The revisional authority is specified already. Now, appellate tribunal. Once the appeal 04 is received by the registered person of department, and they feel that they still the remedy which they wish or they want or which is available in the law is not made available to them, then in the next case of appeal filing the appellate tribunal. Appellate tribunal is still not constituted under GST. Still the notification of constituting the appellate tribunal is awaiting. So right now we cannot file an appeal. There is a circular from department side that in case the first appellate authority is issued order against you and you want to file an appellate, you want to go and file an appeal into tribunal, then the time period of 3 months will start from the date of declaration of tribunal. Now, tribunal will be common for again CGST, IGST, or SGST or UTGST. The tribunal is empowered to hear the case of regional authority as well as an appellate authority. Now, specific point, and it is different from the current state, is that there will be 2 types of state. One is the national or regional bench, and one is the state or area bench. The national or regional bench will hear the case where there is a case or there is a point of place of supply. In all other cases, the matter will refer or will need to appeal into state or area bench. There will be 2 members. One is technical or one is judicial. And if the matter is below 5 lakhs, there can be a single judge. And if matter is below 50,000, appellate tribunal may deny to accept the appeal. So what are the prerequisites to file an appeal before tribunal? The first, the appeal needs to be filed in 3 months from the date of from the order receipt, and 6 months is from department. Tribunal is empowered to allow condonation for delay up to 3 months. The appeal needs to be filed under APL 05. The fee for appeal is 1,000 rupees per lakh, maximum 25,000. Department, if want to file appeal, it will be under APL 07. In case of application for the application for activation or error, there will not be any fee. And in case of demand, in current state also, there is for the refund orders, there is no fee. We hope that same will be continue in case of appellate tribunal also. When there is no demand but I am eligible for refund, then the fee structure should be exempted because I need not to pay anything against my appeal. Recovery process will be stayed till the outcome of appeal. And the specific point we need to take care that we need to pay additional 20%. Now, there is an order in original, there is a first appeal authority order, and there is now we need to go second appeal. Whatever dispute, whatever demand I have accepted at the time of or before first appeal authority, I am paying 100% and only 10% of the undisputed amount I need to deposit. Here, if still I feel that out of 10 rupees, if some of the amount I need to pay 100% of that agreed amount, and the disputed amount, additional 20% other than 10% I already paid. So, if the demand continue in first appeal, second appeal, then I need to pay here 30%. 10% which already paid and 20% I need to pay. Three adjournment can be allowed by the tribunal, although there is a recommendation, there is a mandate that appeal need to be decided within 1 year, but we don't know how much it will be get succeeded because in current situation also the same provisions are there. And if we see in many of our maximum states, the appeal which right now is getting decided are of 2010, 11, 12 like this. So there are huge queues, so we don't know how far it will be actually be implemented. And if the state again want to enhance the penalty or any demand, there will need to be an opportunity for that. Generally, it's very, very remote case. Then tribunal may confirm, modify, or accept the appeal or reject the appeal. And here, whatever order is there, again the same APL 04 will be issued from the tribunal side. Now, still I have the registered person or the appellant have not got the remedy. Then here another option. But before going to this option, the APL 04 issued by the state, whatever demanded amount is there, I need to pay 100% to that. So the appellant need to pay 100% of the disputed amount, and they can file the appeal within 180 days from the receipt of the order in APL 08. APL 08 is common for department as well as for SSC. High Court will entertain the appeal only when there is a question of law. So if there is no question of law, the appeal will directly go to Supreme Court. So if question of law cannot be formulated at the time of appeal, the High Court can formulate. Otherwise, generally classification issue or refund issue which does not have any question of law, it will not go into High Court. I will give an example of question of law which may go directly in Supreme Court if there is no question of law. There is a dispute, a lot of disputes going on in terms of refunds which were paid under erstwhile CVD or SAD stream. If I am actually having a provisional assessment in customs, and the provisional assessment is finalized now after, I would say, 27 December 2017, where I don't have any option to revise or file another tran 1 to claim the CVD or SAD, whatever I'm paying against that. Now, at the time of final assessment of any bill of entry, or any CVD or SAD for any of compliances to my DGFT for against advance license, whatever. If I'm required to pay this CVD and SAD, I was allowed to avail the SENVET against this CVD or SAD under erstwhile law. But right now, there is no provision to avail any credit of CVD or SAD in current circumstances in my JSCAT 3B, and I cannot file Tran 1 also. So under section 142(3) or 142(6), there should be available the refund in case should be made available to me. But there are a lot of controversies going on whether the refund is entitled or not. I am filing the refund claim, department is rejecting. Under XY law, under excise law, refund is not available. But under GST law, refund is available. So under excise law, if refund is not available, there is no question of law. But under current law, refund is available because I am not entitled to claim any credit for this, so I can go to High Court. So depends on circumstances, depends on the matter which under dispute, the matter will go into High Court or straight to Supreme Court. Now, this is after the state, if there is no question of law, I can directly go into Supreme Court. If there is a matter of question of law, so then Supreme Court, there is no time limit is specified under the law. It says as soon as I can receive, within a reasonable period of time, I need to file an appeal in the Supreme Court. Generally, in Supreme Court, appeal from High Court or CST is not rejected because of the delay in time period, but it's not unreasonable delay. So within a reasonable period of time, I need to file an appeal before Supreme Court, and the Honorable Supreme Court may hear the case if High Court has not given relief which is available in the law to SSC or department both the way, or against the state order. Here also, whatever sums due against my state order, I need to deposit this. So this is in brief the appeal process. Okay, what are the appeal provisions are available and how I should go. Now I will try to touch that how appeal should file and what is the mechanism to file an appeal. Before going to next screen, that how the appeal should be filed in the portal and how we should fill the appeal 01. Any question is there, we can take Jalaji. Or should we continue?
Sir, continue.
Okay. So after understanding the provision that what are the basic provisions are there for GST appeal for the first level or the second level or High Court or Supreme Court. Now in GST there is a specific process to file an appeal. So unless the order in original is not issued by GST portal, I cannot file an appeal. So how to file appeal through portal in first court, the first appellate court. So this is the screenshot. This presentation is actually prepared by portal itself, the GST itself, and it's a very good, I would say, PPT. So I don't consider any amendment is required. So I'm using that PPT itself. So in our portal, in GST portal, under service, under the tab of my application, I need to go under service, under the tab of my application to file an appeal. Now, what is the next step? When I go into my application, there is a process, there is the option is available that whatever application I already have as a saved application, or if there is a new application, I go into new application tab. Otherwise, I can search. Now, what are the options? First, I need to select in the drop-down menu appeal to appellate authority. There are a lot of options are available. After selecting the appeal to appellate authority, I need to select new application. Now, this is the new application. Here, as if you see, unless I have any order to file an appeal, I cannot file any appeal. So, order type, there are different type of orders available. Whether it is a demand order, whether it is a registration cancellation order, whether it is a refund order, or any other order. So if there is no order issued by the through portal, I cannot search here, then I cannot file appeal. So any order in original which I need to appeal, need to issue through portal only. So in current circumstances, now order need to issue you have a DIN also, document identification, there is circular also. So that order we need to search here. that order number we need to select here. Now, in the form, it is automatically based on our criteria, whether I am SSC, whether I am department. So automatically the tab is available. So what type of category of dispute I have, so I need to select, and I need to brief here. So what is the dispute? If any of the dispute is not in any of the 15 options available, then I can go in 16, and there will be a window to describe the dispute. Then I can download whatever actually APL 01 is there, the template which I have filed or I have prepared. I can go through with that template. The template is how it looks. I will show you how the template is look. This is APL 01 for the
Sir,
first
you
appeal
first, you first stop sharing this, then you share that. We are unable to see the template.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
You can see right now?
No, sir, you first stop sharing this PPT.
Okay.
And now you share the template. Now again share.
Yes. So earlier I could not, you could not see this here. Now it is available?
No, not sir. Now currently just first time we are seeing this.
Okay, so I will again go back with this
Okay.
so that I understand, please.
Okay.
So this is the portal screenshot where I can file the appeal. So I need to go under services tab in my portal ID under my application tab. There are different type of options are available. My shared application, my application. So I need to go in my application. Then I need to select here appeal to appellate authority. There are different options available. Appeal to advanced ruling authority, appeal to appellate authority, or other options are available. So I need to select this. And I have an option to search if I already filed any appeal. Otherwise, I can go for a new application. Then this is the tab where I need to select under which is the order against which I need to file an appeal. So there are different type of orders are available. So if the original authority has issued any order through portal, here the portal have actually bifurcated the orders in the 4 major category. One is demand order, one is registration order, one is refund order, and then other orders. And based on the selection, automatically the order number should be there. Otherwise, if order number is not coming here, then I need to write here order number and then search. If the order is not available here, then I cannot go ahead here. So I need to select and write order number here. After identifying the order number by system, then only I can go ahead. This is the case. This is the way where I can actually select the dispute, which is the dispute applicable for my appeal. If 1 to 15 disputes are not applicable, then I can select 16 number. After selecting the dispute, I can go and then I can download the GST APL 01 drafted, what is there. I can go through with this, and here I need to pay the disputed amount of 10% जो भी है. Unless I pay here, I will not allow to file appeal. After payment of here disputed amount payment details, I need to upload the documents also. Whatever the documents, supporting documents are available. Here I can select the annex. I can upload the annexure. Annexure will be only in PDF or JPG form. This is the APL 01 will show like this. Annexure to any annexure to APL 01 will be like this. Here I can define statement of facts, ground of appeal, prayer. These are the annexure which I can define. Then appeal annexure 1 to this, APL 01, annexure 2 to like this. I can select the annexures here after browsing in my system. I can choose the file. I can upload the annexures, and then there is a payment tab. I need to pay here. Then payment tab will be like this. Whatever the CGST, SGST amount is there, it is like this. I will show you here now. This is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Visible, sir.
So this is the format of APL 01. Here, if I see the drafted APL 01, how it will look. So here, the basic informations are available: order number, order date, and all this. Then amount of dispute here. Then statement of facts, grounds of appeal, and prayer. I need to whether I can specify here. I can attach separately. And then amount of demand which actually there under dispute. Whatever I admitted, what is disputed, and whatever I paid. So whatever I admitted, I need to show here the particular demand which is actually created by the order. This is then admitted in the tab B. I have admitted this, and this is a dispute. So demand actually bifurcated into 3 tabs. One is created. This is the full amount which I actually admitted, and then which is a dispute. Against the disputed amount, how much I have paid. So I admitted, then what is the payment details? It will reflect here. I can go and pay here. And for the next balance, I need to pay 10%. Then this is the details of payment, how I have paid. Interest and penalties is there, how I paid. And then if any delay, then I can need to file a COD, then I need to specify what is the delay for this. And this is the verification part. So this is the APL 01 which I need to prepare online, I need to file online, and I need to submit online. Now against this, because I cannot have detailed grounds of appeal or statement of facts, then I can draft statement of facts and grounds of appeal separately, and then I can attach annexure A, annexure B, annexure C like this. So this is the table which we have seen. It will be like this. Then at the time of payment, if I pay through cash, the message will become like this. Whatever the cash component, what is the ITC component, I need to accept here. And then this is the payment details and will reflect on the screen. Then this is the submission. Submit with the DSC or EVC. And this is the submission tab. After selecting the options, I will have the provisional ARN. This is the submission of provisional ARN. Within 7 days of this ARN, I need to give a certified copy of order in original. Then there will be final acknowledgement. I will get an email, I will get an SMS, I will have based on the acknowledgement. If I issued, I need to. So this is within 7 days, I need to give a certified copy of order. So this way I can file an online appeal. This is APL 01. Sorry. Similarly, the APL 02 will be acknowledgement like this. In the acknowledgement, what is the reference number, date of filing, time of filing, place of filing. If I have submitted the certified copy of order within 7 days, the date of submission will be the date of original submission. Otherwise, if I submitted after 7 days, then the date of submission will be the date of submission of certified order. Now, this is APL 01 and APL 02. APL 03 is like that only, but in this case, only the dispute amount is there, and there is no payment details will be there. So this is APL 03 for the department side. This is for revision. I am not touching this. This is APL 04, which is the order will be issued by the adjudicate and the appellate authority, which will give the appeal number, date, order original number, and the final demand after accepting or rejecting the appeal. Now, if we talk about the appeal filed by department, I will just brief you. This is also the same portal will be the departmental authority. They will have the different type of options with them. Based on they will select, and accordingly they will go. They will go with the APL 03. Then they will submit. There is a different process in APL 03. So APL 03 is actually based on the recommendation received from review cell. Based on the review cell, if the commissioner accepts the review cell recommendation, then the appeal will be filed by the original or delegating authority itself. This is the precondition we already discussed, that order has been issued, review proposal. If there is no review proposal, then department cannot file any appeal to this. They have the 6-month time period on 1 month additional period for condonation of delay. In my opinion, we need not to touch these points because this is within the department side, so it is not so much important for us. So I'm not touching this screenshot. So I'm straight for going ahead. We have seen this earlier. Now we can actually see how appeal should be drafted. I'm just seeing if any important point is there, we can actually show now. It is a brief on review. What is the review process within the department? How the department is filing appeal against any original authority order. So within the department, which, as I discussed earlier, that there are different checks and control available within the department, so that if original adjudicating authority have made any mistakes, it will be taken care through review process. So generally, commissioner is the head of the review cell process, and in the commissioner team there is a real review cell member, a senior tax officer, and a legal officer, and a revisional authority. These are 3-4 types of officers are there. Based on the state level, or division is for central level, and state is for another executive authority. So this is the constitution of review cell. So what they will do, they will actually review the order with commissioner from this. So this is the process of review. If any adjudication of the reform order, revision order, so if it's reviewed or not reviewed, based on the review, they can review the adjudication order, they can review the first appeal order, they can review the tribunal order, even they can do the high court order. Based on that, if they need to go and file appeal before Supreme Court. So this is the mechanism. This is the mechanism for reviewing. So this is the review cell. If they receive the order or not, then the senior tax officer will review this. If there is a proposal or not, based on the proposal, yes. If they satisfy the order is correct, then they will drop the case. If they not satisfied that there is some issue which need to be reviewed, then they will go and offer the review recommendation. Then based on the review recommendation, they will see whether 7 months is expired or not. If it's not expired, they will file. If it is expired, then it will be time bar. So this is the process of review within the department, and they actually need to close this review process for each and every order. whether it is a so-called notice for demand or any for refund order. So this is an internal mechanism within the department itself. Now, sir, we will tell that how the order should be appeal should be drafted. So I have taken one example of appeal where actually I have filed any appeal and how it should be drafted. So this is the APL 01. In APL 01, I need to provide the details of GST number and all these things, address, which is a basic information. Then authorized representative, who is the authorized representative. This is a brief issue we can discuss, specify here. This is a brief on the issue of what is the actual issue is there. Then what is the amount involved. Then what is the particular demand. If there is no demand, then we need to give the there's a refund. Then we need to pay anything against this refund order because the 10% is not applicable in case of refund order. Here I have, if you see, there is an annexure 1, 2, and 3 for statement of facts, for grounds of appeal, and for prayer. So how we should give statement of facts so that all the events are actually being shown in the chronological order, and each and every aspect of appeal, which whatever the event occurred, any letters before so-called notice, after that. So we'll include all the events in chronological order here. And here only factual information need to be given. Then what are the grounds of appeal and what pray we actually you are making to appellate authority. So this is the how we can draft the statement of facts. So we need to first see what is the case or what is the amount involved here, what is the matter involved here. If the rejection of refund, then we can highlight this. Who is the appellant? We need to give the details of appellant. It's the introduction of appellant here. Then we need to specify the amount involved in the case and for what purpose. Then what are the major components of amount involved. Then why we are claiming refund. So when we file the refund claim, then if we accepted any reason thing, anything is there, then we made the request letter. Then there is so-called notice. Then whether we have submitted bill of entry to all documents, advance license, anything. So whatever documents available us, we will specify here. If any letter is department issued before issuing so-called notice, we can include here. Then the so-called notice details. In the so-called notice detail, what are the information has been asked, what are the questions were there, what are the reasons where they have requested, they have asked to reject our refund claim. Then we can specify here. Then if we submitted the reply, then what is the when we submitted the reply, then PH, what is the PH date and all this, and if the rejection order is there, the date of rejection order. So this is the chronological order of events which actually happened in the matter we need to represent here. Now, grounds of appeal. In the grounds of appeal, we should give all our grounds, possible grounds, which may reason to be the case in our favor. So whatever grounds we feel that this is also right, this is the provision is available, earlier case law is available, Senate credit rule is specifying, the GST provision is specifying this, already department is issuing the order. So whatever information we have, one by one we can give here. So first, why I should be allowed the refund, what are the usual provisions for refund, why he has rejected, what is the basis for actually allowing the refund, what are the provisions. So we need to specify the provisions under SY law for which I am entitled for SENVAT. If SENVAT is available in transitional credit, then why it should not be, why it is not available now? What are the restrictions for not claiming the SENVAT? Then if SENVAT is not available, then what are the provisions under which I can claim the refund. Case maybe it is a refund case, there may be demand case. Why that demand is not applicable under this law? I am not actually, the registered person is not have any intentional ground to why I should pay a penalty. What are the major favorable points for not to pay penalty? Whether there is a intentional or not intentional. So anything which we can consider that this is in my favor, I need to elaborate here with the basis of provisions, and we should give the provision also. So this is the basic provisions of GST. We should elaborate the provisions also, and why I should not pay penalty, that also I should give. Then if any case law is there, we can give here. If anything higher forums case laws are available, should give here. So if department is already actually following to in other zone or not giving any demand or allowing the refund, we can give here. So meaning to say here that anything which we consider that this is in my favor in terms of not accepting the demand or allowing the refund claim, I should elaborate here. And elaboration in that manner that it should be in a presentable form. If it is not in presentable form, then it will become a mingle here. So we need to represent in point by point, elaborate the point, each and every point where the original authority have made the mistake, why he should not allow, why he should allow the refund, why he should not give demand. All these aspects need to elaborate here. So this is, if any case law is there, we can give the particular para. Yes, please. I'm not actually, your voice is not audible, sir.
Sir, I muted. He might have unmute himself, so you can carry on.
Okay. So if I have a specific case law which I am allowing, so I can give that court or the particular para which is allowed, giving the basis of refund or denying the demand or allowing the appeal for rejecting the demand or quashing the original order. So each and every aspect which I consider that is becoming in my favor, we can elaborate here. Now, prayer. So what type of prayer we should have? First, if there is a demand, so we need to give that I am not liable. So that the order in original demanding should be quashed. There should not be any penalty. There should not be any interest. If the proposed notice for rejecting the refund, the proposed notice and the order in original need to be quashed. And I should allow the refund. I should allow the interest also on refund claim. So whatever release we want from the original the appellate authority, we should elaborate here. So this was a brief example. What are the things we need to include in our grounds of appeal? How we should represent our brief fact of the case and prayer. Jalaji, this I think on all from my side for appeal and all. I'm just seeing if any other aspect which we need to include and give.
Sir, what is happening right now? Ki many people are getting notices of ASMT 13. Earlier DCR 7 was received because they have not filed the return, और उसके अंदर में कुछ assessment कर दिया था, एक कुछ odd figure लेकर assessment कर दिया था, say 50 lakhs or 1 crore rupees from abrupt कोई figure ले लिया assessing officer ने. And even though the assessee have not filed any of the return because late filing fees लग रहा था, तो कुछ file नहीं किया. And somehow April May में they have issued ASMT 13 also. So whether the dealer needs to go in appeal only or there is any other option, because अब return the file कर दिए 500 rupees भर के सबने.
So I think there is a clarification already because of the amnesty scheme right now for not giving any penalties for not filing the returns earlier. And if someone already paid the penalty or late fees, it will automatically credited in due course. So already there is a clarification from portal and JCN side also that whatever amount collected as a penalty or whatever the SSC already paid a penalty and now the penalty is not
Penalty.
applicable. It will be recredited to the cash account or cash ledger.
No, sir, but if appeal is not filed, to whether appeal needs to be filed? Question is that.
No. Max to max, what we can do, we can write a letter to our divisional authority that we will give that clarification also from the circular and the department has issued. So based on this clarification, whatever amount has been collected as a late fee from us needs to be recredited.
Acha.
So we can give a letter.
Okay. So our late fees, how it will be recredited, because earlier return were not filed, na? Return are now filed with the late fees. ASMT 10 was issued because ASMT 13 was issued because assessment was done on the basis of some abrupt figure or tentative figure.
So based on assessment done, if we accepted the assessment and we have paid, then the penalty and the late fee will be credited.
Okay.
But if the assessment is still challenged, then there will be an appeal process for that.
So it is
And
not,
for that, if we are not paying, department must have issued a so-called notice. And if the department is not issued and our registration is kept on hold, then we need to again request or we need to file a grievances for that.
no assessment. Dealer have not given any reply to the assessment. It is not done anything, and department has also not done anything because 3 months have not expired. It might be.
So now we can take help and we can file the returns based on whatever amount we have. And with the clarification to department that this was your notice, as per my books of accounts, this is my liability and I am actually depositing this amount. Rest you please check your data again and difference liability may please be dropped.
Okay, appeal need not be filed in this case.
Appeal will be filed only when there is no order, sir. There is no order, we cannot file any appeal. So if the department is pursuing the demand, then they will issue a so-called notice for that.
Okay.
Then there is an adjudication process against the so-called notice. Then we'll file a reply. Then we'll file an appeal if the order is against us.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir, in many cases of trans 1,
Right.
there were a lot of issue, and during the course of audit filing of 17-18, we reversed that and paid the trans 1 credit. And after again the department is requesting, is issuing notices about the trans 1, and they are not able to view the what we have filed, actually DCR 3, while filing the while filing the annual audits.
Yeah.
So in such a situation, what should be the remedy?
Sir, if we have accepted that some of the trans 1 credit needs to be reversed and we already reversed, then if during the return, if I could not reverse, then I have an option to reverse in my annual return. But I am telling that my credit is available, I am not required to reverse. And department want to verify. Department can verify end time of transaction because there is a huge process from to department also. When I was in Polycab, sir, I have given at least 4 to 5 verifications. One by DGGI also, by state authority also, by central authority also. So if we have some evidence that our transfer is already verified by this department by this date, on this date, we should give this in writing to department.
Sir, major issue we reversed due to the issue that the original return there should be excess credit, not in revised return. And that issue, so the department issued first notices. Thereafter, their clarification came that even if you are in if you have filed the revised return and the credit is excess, and you are trans credit, you are not required to file, you are not required to revise the trans 1 credit.
You mean to say in my erstwhile returns, X amount was there,
Yeah,
then the return of the erstwhile credit was revised and it become Y,
yes.
but I have claimed Y or X?
Sir, why?
Y. In that case, I need not to change because the final return in the erstwhile legacy law was Y, and if I claim Y, I need not to do anything.
Okay.
Even there is a X because X does not have any relevance now, and Y will supersede because the revision has been already made in the return.
Yeah.
So department cannot give any so-called notice कि आपने X के base पे क्यों नहीं लिया. Don't worry on that part.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
If any other members are having any query relating to the notices received from the department, you can ask.
A major issue which I feel, sir, there are a lot of panics happened in e-way bill issue, and state authority at the check post or during the transition of or during the transportation of the goods, if something happened or they could not found the e-way bill and the invoice in match, then by force they are issuing the penalty. By force the amount has been deposited under section 129. In that case, and they have also alleged the 74 also. In that case, many of SSC or registered person actually facing the issue how to file the appeal, because in the state where the amount is paid, they are not registered. So in that case, being a registered dealer also, they can file the appeal against the order in origin.
Sir, what we have learned from your today's presentation, that the procedure of filing appeal mainly is similar to what the procedure has been given in our VAT system also, 10% of the outstanding demand. But sir, in the outstanding demand, demand in the order, we used to pay 10% of the total tax, not on interest and penalty. What is the case in the GST?
Only tax amount, because
Tax
penalty we are not going to pay, and in appeal we will going to request that even my tax is not applicable, so why I should pay 10% of demand. So even so if I'm giving again an example, 100 rupees the tax amount, say 50 rupees the penalty and interest component, for an example. Out of 100, I assume that 80% I'm liable to pay. Then I need to pay 80 as a 100%. Now, for balance 20, I'm disputing that 100% of demand and interest also, of 50 rupees. In that case, I need to pay only 2 rupees for filing appeal. 10% of 20. I will not touch 10% of 50 rupees.
Okay.
But if I'm accepting that I need to pay some interest, then I will pay the interest amount as a balance I will dispute. So while calculating the 10%, I need to only calculate 10% of the tax amount without including or totaling the penalty and interest.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Yes, Dheeraj, do you want to ask any question? Dheeraj Mutta.
Yes, sir. So, recently there is a notice been received with respect to 1920. The department has told if the turnover is above 5 crores, you need to give the details of those turnover in detail. But they haven't given any mail ID. This is a no reply mail. So how to go about this now?
5 crores of which SSC? My vendors or about me?
About me.
So so how they will find out? Matlab, you are already registered, or how?
I am registered. I am registered person. I am registered person. My turnover is above 5 crores. I filed my all returns till March. Now the department has sent a notice stating if you are having turnover above 5 crores, please state any differences to the link they have provided. If there is no difference, nothing is to be given. But in the mail, they haven't given any attachments or their calculations over there. And this
You
mail
go
has been
into
received.
you in your GST portal. You go into orders and demand. There you will get, and there you will get the reply link also. In
Sir,
portal.
checked over there. Checked over there. There is nothing over there.
It
Hello?
should be there, sir. Because mail is there, and how to go in that order, there is a link also given in the mail.
So no link is there. So because the only link is grievance link.
Hello?
And they have asked us to reply within 15 days. So where to reply and what to reply to them then?
So if you have any link to the reply to that, there is no difference. If you have any difference, then pay in the portal itself. Then you know to reply. क्या कर सकते हो आप? But in my opinion, I have seen that in the orders and demand, I think orders and demand में जाएंगे आप तो you will find that order issued or demand by giving the time period. You need to give a time period.
Okay. Okay, I'll check over there, sir.
You check, otherwise you let me know. I will again, my number and all is there. I will let me know. I will try to find out this place.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Jayesh sir, do you want to ask any question? Jayesh Bhatia. Okay, Jayesh, yes, Jayesh, do you want to ask anything? You have raised your hand, so I am asking you. Yeah, any other person who wants to ask anything? Its floor is open for you. I think nobody wants to ask anything now. Yeah.
If we have time, then something we should take up in terms of technology in GST.
Yes. Yeah. If you
now audit is going on for 1819, and although there is already a point in next seminar for 1819 audit, but reconciliation is an issue. Then how we should do the 360-degree reconciliation in terms of credit, in terms of turnover. So there are a lot of aspects to have a reconciliation item. I will just have in just a minute. So I will touch these points because these are very important for 1819 audit. So I am touching this point. Just a minute.
yeah, Sachin sir, do you have any question? You can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have filed an online appeal in GST. So what is the document which you referred which has to be submitted physically?
Physical is the order in original. So certified copy means we will have our certification and submit the order in original with the department.
Sir, it has to be certified by the client or the officer?
By the client, not department.
Okay, by the client. And it has to be submitted within 7 days.
Yes.
But even in the current situation, due to COVID, it has to be submitted in 7 days?
Right now, if we don't have any issue, then we need to give some excuse. Otherwise, if we will not able to submit, then department will not give our that acknowledgement.
Okay, sir. And sir, in case of an appeal, is there any stay of demand like we had in VAT? Means there's a separate order for stay granted in GST also?
वापस बोलिए एक बार.
So stay order, मतलब VAT में stay order हुआ करता था. वैसे GST में भी there is a separate
Once you file
application to be made for stay.
once you file the appeal, it means that all the recovery process is automatically stayed. There is no requirement to file another stay application for staying the recovery process.
Okay.
If your appeal is not accepted and rejected, then this is a different case. So that's why appeal 02 has to be taken from the department, which become an evidence that you are already in appeal and you filed the appeal, so no recovery process can be initiated by the department.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, Jayesh sir, you ask your question, sir. Jayesh Bhatia. Yes, Jayesh, you can ask your question.
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है जयेश.
Jayesh, unmute yourself. Sir, his question is that he has filed trans 1, but he has not shown trans 1 credit amount in GSTR 9, and credit of the same is taken in October 2019 GSTR 3B return, and same is separately reshown in March 2018 balance sheet. Is it proper way of taking credit?
If I understand the question, while filing the GSTR 9 or 9C, this mistake happened or maybe one or both, the trans 1 credit could not be shown, and if you consolidated the total credit in table 6 and table 8, table 6 is only for 2A. So if you consider the total credit of your 3B is not in match with GSTR 9 and 9C. In that case, if this is the case, your closing balance or will be reduced to that extent, or you are liable to pay additional amount if your liability exceeds with the credit. What is the case?
Sir, he is not able to. We are not able to hear him.
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है जयेश.
Yes, sir. Jayesh, sir, we are not able to hear you. So exactly what is the question you want to ask? We are not able to get it. Okay, sir, you carry on with him if we the time permits. He will again ask the question.
I will give a couple of slides for reconciliation, that how we should take the reconciliation.
Yeah,
and
sir.
how important it is. And this was given in one of my webinars, sir. And I found it for the knowledge benefit of all. So we should take a note of this while preparing the reconciliation. And these are the key points needs to be considered for GST supply reco. So how we should do a reconciliation? Value versus liability under each tax rate, credit note versus commercial credit note. So the commercial credit note will not be part of my GSTR 1 and 3B, where it will be part of my financials. Turnover against non-GST supply, timing difference in recording the transaction. It means by any reason I have shown in my GST returns or not in financial books or vice versa, then what is the impact, and that may create difference. Then capital goods sale will not be part of my financial, where it will be part of my GSTR 1. Sales reversal, because of the India's requirement, example, in the end of month, I am required to reverse some of the sales because it is not certain that the goods has been received and it was actually FOR basis. Then auditor has pressurized to reverse, and we are reversed in financial, but I have shown in my GSTR 1 return. Debit note or credit note issued by customers, I have not accounted, but they have issued. Amendment of previous year made in current year. So any amendment made in the returns or financial that impact in my turnover. Record between 1 and 3B versus books. Rate change in credit or debit note effect. So only because of the rate change, the credit note, debit note, it will not reflect my turnover. Stock transfer across one pen. So it means that I have transferred the goods, but it will not be part of my financial. Then RICO will become an issue in future. Department will ask, आपके EV bill इतने में आ रहा है, जबकि आपके books में या 1 में इतना है, like this. Then RICO with your 44AB. Sales return versus purchase from customer is a very interesting point. There is a time limit that after September, I cannot issue any credit note for the previous year supply. In that case, there is a way out that the goods can be returned as by showing as a purchase, but this may not be part of my books of accounts. So in GST returns, I have shown as a purchase, but in books of accounts, I have shown as a sales return. Amendment in the sales return due to accident of vehicle, cancellation of invoice in next month. So these are the circumstances which will be part of my reconciliation. So I need to take care while doing this. Similarly, for GST credit reco, which we need to do for the purpose of annual return. So what is there in my purchase register, what is there in 2A, and what is there in 3B? This has to be 360-degree reconciliation. Then my ledger closing balance and my GST credit ledger balance should be matched as on 31st March. Or the credit ledger balance on 20th of April before utilizing the credit, and my credit balance in books as on 31st March should be in match. Then accounting for refund claim. So how much accounting I have made, whether I reduce my tenure credit or not. RCM RICO, then RICO with renewable issue by vendor, credit availed beyond time limit. So I cannot avail, it may be like available in books of account as a receive, but I cannot avail in my 3B. Accounting of debit note, credit note issued by vendor against mismatch. Then credit bifurcation 17, 18, 18, 19, 18, 9. Now how to bifurcate or match the two-way credit with this? So in 18, 19, if I avail of 17, 18, I need to reduce. And if 18, 19 credit I avail in 19, 20, I need to add that credit and then match with two-way. So there will be different style of two-way match and 3B match with books. So it needs to have a different reconciliation stream. Then RCM credit versus time of supply versus payment made versus vendor invoice date, ये सब एस्पेक्ट है जो आपको कहीं भी का डिपार्टमेंट बाद में परेशान कर सकता है कि आपने जो क्रेडिट किया सही है या नहीं है. क्रेडिट ऑफ IGST टेकन एज CGST और वाइस वर्सा. कहीं कहीं एक्सपेंस ऑफ क्रेडिट जो है आपने 3B में नहीं दिखाया है, बट और PR का पार्ट नहीं आपने डायरेक्टली एक्सपेंस ऑफ कर दिया, बट देयर विल बी डिफरेंस इन 2A. पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्सेस अगेंस्ट सेल ऑफ फिक्स्ड एसेट. तो 36(4) का कंप्लायंस कर रहे हैं या नहीं कर रहे हैं. टाइमिंग डिफरेंस ऑफ क्रेडिट अगेंस्ट व्हाटएवर देयर बिकॉज द सोल्ड टू शिप टू डिफरेंट पर्सन्स व्हाटएवर रीजन. क्रेडिट अगेंस्ट प्री डिपॉजिट पेमेंट मेड बाय यूटिलाइजिंग क्रेडिट अगेंस्ट एज पर लॉ. सो एनी क्रेडिट व्हिच वी हैव टेकन. Difference in auto populated credit versus. So the 17th point is very important. Many of people is not understanding that why there is a difference. If I download the actual 2A and auto populated figures may not match, there may be issue. The auto populated figures are actually netted off with credit notes. If any of the vendor by mistake made yes in any RCM, then it will not be taken or considered for the auto populated figures. If any of the vendors has made different place of business, place of supply, then what you are showing, then it will not be part of your auto populated figures. So these are the different type of reasons where there will be mismatch. And in my opinion, this needs to be considered, this needs to be taken care while doing the reconciliations and filing the GST returns. And I would suggest that manually it is very difficult and time consuming. Then in such case, we need to have some of the automations, some of the software to reconcile, because it is very difficult to have a match with my each of credit invoice at invoice level, at GST number level. In that case, I should have some of the software which actually remove the errors like any invoice 45/02 or I have mentioned 45-02. So you will not able to do reconciliation by VLOOKUP because the invoice number will not match. In that case, there needs to be an extra skill, extra software or anything else which beyond the Excel, and otherwise it is very difficult to have a match with your 2A. This is a brief on how we should do the reconciliation, what are the major reasons of reconciliation points in your sales and purchases, and how you should take care. This is from my side.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Now again, whether Jayesh is there?
Yes, sir. Am I audible now?
Yes, you
Jayesh,
are
you are
audible now.
audible.
You can ask your question.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have not filed the TRAN 1. I have TRAN 1 credit of stock, which I have shown separately in my March 18 balance sheet.
Okay.
At the time of filing GSTR 9 for the financial year 17-18, I have shown the same figure in TRAN 1 column.
Okay.
And I have taken that TRAN 1 credit in October 19 GSTR 3B return.
Okay.
Is it, sir, proper way to take TRAN 1 credit?
Sir, you can expect a support notice from department very soon. The last date of availment of credit is 27 December 17 for TRAN 1, transitional credit. There are a lot of litigations, and beyond that, if you could not avail the credit or you could not file the TRAN 1 because of the system issue, department is allowing. But TRAN 1 credit cannot be availed as an input credit in your 3B because 3B is made for availment of credit, not transfer credit. So, not now, during the GST audit from department side, in my opinion, it will a procedural error and department will deny this credit because it is beyond 27 December and you may liable to reverse it. Unless there is a good cash flow now, the cash flow is right now is to allow the credit. To allow the credit beyond 27 December, which could not be availed because of the any of reason. Now you have availed, but it will go definitely in the litigations, and in litigations you can take. Recently, there is a Delhi High Court judgment. Now matter is before Supreme Court. Although the Chennai High Court judgment is against this, so unless this will go in through litigation process and adjudication process, but definitely if it is identified during this audit, there will be support notice from department side.
Okay, sir.
If any other participants wants to ask the question, the forum is open. Otherwise, we'll, Prashant Agarwal, you can ask your question. Prashant Agarwal, sir, do you want to ask the question? I think, Sagar Patni, sir, I request you to give, to come to the closing remarks of this session.
I request our today's session chairman, CA Magan Patil, sir, to please give closing remarks. Magan Patil, sir.
Okay, coming.
Abhay Kataria, sir, question is there, but I would like to, if it is relating to the audit, GST audit, tomorrow we are having the session of Pritam Batra, sir, from Nagpur on GST audit.
Okay. Yes, sir. No problem.
Hello.
Yes, sir, Magan Patil, sir. Yes, sir.
I am audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mukherjee. He is very nicely explained today's topic. He stated from first appeal to Supreme Court appeal, and in the remaining period, he has also taken the GST reconciliation. Friends, every law provides for the appeal. If there is dispute, there is appeal. We are practicing, I am practicing since PST. There is a provision of appeal. Under VAT, there is a provision of appeal. Now, GST, there is a provision of appeal. Here only the change is, the wording is against the adjudication order. Appeal to be filed against the adjudication order. However, the adjudication means what is not defined. However, defined as adjudication authority. Section 2(4) defines adjudication authority, and therefore the order passed by that adjudication authority is the adjudication order. In my opinion, this is the adjudication order passed by any officer of the department.
second question is, in VAT, there is a single appeal because it was a state law. Here is two, we have to file two acts, CGST as well as SGST. Suppose the GST officer pass the order, we have to appeal against state authority. And if the GST officer, CGST officer pass the order, we have to file the appeal against with their CGST authority. The time limit is given for filing appeal of 3 months and not 90 days. In some of the cases, the 92 days are there, or in some of the cases, 88 days. We have to follow month and not year. This is the first time that a department is also allowed to file the appeal. There was no provision in VAT. There was no provision. There was a provision of revision. However, appeal provision is first time provided, and they were given a 6 month time. The commissioner is empowered to review the case, and he is directed unit to file the appeal, and he will take the charge of a respondent before the appeal authority, like the dealer. We have to pay undisputed amount fully. First, we have to pay undisputed amount fully, and then we have to pay 10% of the disputed tax amount only, and not the total amount, which is also subject to a maximum limit of rupees 25 crore from 1st February 2019. Suppose there is a demand of rupees 300 crores in tax, then you need not pay 30 crores rupees. You have to pay only 25 crores. This is a one demand is when you pay 10%, you need not have any separate application for stay. It is automatically granted. Section 7 of Section 102, subsection 7 provide that stay is automatically granted. These are the procedure. He has also given us the procedure how to file the appeal, how to draft the statement of facts, how to draft the grounds of appeal. We have summarized this question, and thanks for the Vishal Doshi sir, who has attended, Vice Chairman of WRC, Sagar Patni sir, Chairman of Branch, Kiranji Bandari sir, Chairman of Nagar Branch, Jayatji Baheti sir, Jalajji Baheti sir, Akola Branch Chairman, and the Managing Committee members of Jalgaon Branch for giving me this opportunity to preside over the chair of such eminent personalities when giving the lecture. Thanks very much. Thanks very much to all.
Thank you, Patil sir.
सागर भाई आप अनम्यूट कीजिए अपने आप को.
Thank you, Magan Patil sir. Now I request Vice Chairman of Jalgaon Branch, CA Prashant Agrawal sir, to present vote of thanks. Prashant sir.
किरण सर अनम्यूट कीजिए आप अपने आप को. किरण सर क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं, अनम्यूट कीजिए.
Okay. Thanks Mukesh sir for accepting our request, as today you were planned for the session on Monday, but you immediately gave your consent for today's seminar. It was really as last month batsman getting an upgradation, but immediately getting ready for that also. It's really thank you from on behalf of all the 3 branches for accepting our request, sir. Because we were yesterday evening only we received the message from Poddar sir that he will be unable to join tomorrow, and immediately we contacted you, and you immediately gave your consent. Is for all your efforts. You have made the presentation immediately and made us the session active. Thanks a lot. Now I request Sagar sir to proceed for the vote of thanks.
Prashant Agrawal sir, Vice Chairman of Jalgaon Branch, please present the vote of thanks.
I, CA Prashant Agrawal, deems it great honor on behalf of Jalgaon, Ahmednagar and Akola branch of WRC to propose vote of thanks on this memorable occasion of GST conclave. In this COVID pandemic, we have learned a lot of things. And this online webinars series and all conclaves is one of them. Due to this, we have crossed all the regional and geographical barriers of and due to this only we can got the best speaker like Shri Mukesh Ladda sir. He has explained all the provisions of GST appeals in a very simple and very lucid manner, as well as he has practically explained and shown us how to file the GST appeal online. And this will be very helpful to all the professionals and all the participants, so that they can file the GST appeal in a very hassle-free manner. I'm also thankful to CA Shri Vishal Doshi sir, Vice Chairman of WRC, that he has given his auspicious presence to the conclave. I am also thankful to CA Magan Patil sir, Session Chairman, as well as I am thankful to Chairman of Jalgaon, Ahmednagar and Akola branch of WRC. Last but not the least, I am also thankful to all the participants for their patience hearing and their active participation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.